I sat across from my father-in-law in the café as he smiled and informed me that no attorney I could ever hire would stand a chance against his son. Meeting his gaze steadily, I answered that he was correct. Victor Hale took my composure for defeat. For nearly 2 decades, he had treated quiet endurance as frailty. I held the rank of Major Natalie Cross in the United States Army, though Victor preferred to present me simply as Evan's wife. He knew my background was modest and never pressed for details. That arrangement worked in my favor. Military service had taught me that knowledge carried weight, and proud men tended to reveal more when they assumed you possessed none. My marriage had begun with genuine affection. Evan once drove through a blizzard to reach my commissioning ceremony. He wept with relief when I came home from overseas. After he entered his father's freight company, however, he grew polished, remote, and eager for Victor's praise. Then I found another woman's scent on his shirt, a concealed phone, and a message addressed to someone called Tessa. 3 weeks later, the situation darkened further. Inside Evan's desk drawer lay a prepared divorce filing asserting that our home, savings, and vehicles belonged to Hale Freight. I was to receive only temporary support and nothing beyond it. Victor summoned me for coffee 2 days later. He itemized every possession I would forfeit, then leaned in. His lawyers, he said, would crush anyone I retained. "You're right," I replied. That evening, alone in my car, I contacted the one relative the Hales had never troubled themselves to investigate. My brother Marcus Cross answered at once. "About time," he said. Marcus was no ordinary counsel. Corporations sought him when fraud threatened to collapse their operations. He had prevailed in matters the press labeled unwinnable. Yet to me, he remained the boy who escorted me to school and kept vigil beside my hospital bed while our mother faded. I recounted every detail. "Sign nothing more," he instructed, "and keep my identity secret." For a month, Victor celebrated. He informed relatives that I was appearing without counsel. Evan retained the most costly family law firm in the state. Tessa approached me in a supermarket and expressed hope that I had found adequate representation. I answered only that I was not alone. Uncertainty crossed her features for the first time, and I carried that expression home with me. On the day of the hearing, I entered the courtroom alone. Victor's smile broadened at the vacant seat beside me. "I cautioned you," he murmured. The judge took the bench, the clerk began the docket, and then the rear doors opened. Marcus strode down the aisle in a dark suit, set his briefcase next to mine, and sat without a glance at Victor. When the clerk announced his name, Evan's attorneys went rigid. One of them whispered that the man was Marcus Cross. Victor's expression drained of color. Marcus opened with the residence. Joint banking statements established that I had contributed more than $60,000 toward the mortgage. Next came investment movements funneled through shell entities in the days preceding Evan's filing. Finally, Marcus produced corporate card records documenting $90,000 spent on Tessa's apartment, vehicle, jewelry, and travel, each entry coded as client entertainment. The judge regarded Evan, unusual client, she observed. Victor's smile vanished entirely when Marcus introduced the text messages. "Transfer the funds before Natalie grows suspicious. She trusts Evan." "Exploit that." The words landed heavily, yet I kept my eyes forward. After the midday recess, Marcus called Gerald Price, the former accountant of Hale Freight. Gerald testified that Victor had directed him to mask personal disbursements as ordinary operating costs. He had declined, resigned, and retained copies of every directive. Evan's counsel challenged his motives. Gerald answered by producing time-stamped emails, signed authorizations, and internal ledgers. Victor leaned toward Evan and hissed that the matter was supposed to have been clean. "You ordered it," Evan shot back. Their carefully built structure fractured in that exchange. The judge delivered her decision before evening. She classified the hidden accounts as marital assets, awarded me the house, directed an equal division of the remaining property, and required Evan to cover my legal costs. She further transmitted the financial documents for official inquiry. Outside on the courthouse steps, Victor intercepted us. "Why did you never reveal who he was?" he demanded. I recalled every dinner at which he belittled my family, every slight I absorbed, every year I reduced myself to preserve calm. "You were right," I told him. I could never have afforded counsel of Marcus's caliber. Victor frowned. "I never needed to." Marcus rested a hand on my shoulder. "She is my sister," he said. "Family does not bill family." Victor looked at us, suddenly aged and ordinary. Evan stood behind him, unable to meet my gaze. I left with Marcus under a pale autumn sky. Vehicles moved past. People hurried toward their homes. Nothing in the street appeared altered, yet everything within me had shifted. For 18 years, I had believed that survival required remaining quiet enough to endure. That afternoon taught a better lesson. Silence can shield you, but it must never erase you. I did not prevail because my brother was renowned, or because Victor grew careless, or because Evan undervalued me. I prevailed because I finally refused to diminish myself for those who required me to stay small, and the moment I stood at my true height, their authority dissolved.